Yo, what is up, YouTube? I think I got one of my most exciting videos I've made in quite a long time coming up. What's going on right now is this truck's come a very long way. Can't wait to see it back on the wire wheels when spring comes, and we are chopping the roof off this thing. It's going to be a hardtop convertible Nissan Hardbody. We ordered the Radical Hardtop kit from airbagit.com, and it is not in just yet, but I figure we start on the preparations for when the kit comes in. I'm going to show you guys some tips and tricks. I'm going to show you guys just how it's done. We're going to hop in and cut the roof off this thing. It is going to look so sick. I do love it as a regular cab hardtop. I really do. But, man, it's just going to look so sick. So it is a little unfortunate that my truck is this dirty currently, but it is my winter beater, essentially. Hopefully next year I'll get a daily for my daily, because that's my spring, summer, fall daily. And now I have this, and I've been building it. And I'm kind of falling in love with it again. It was my first truck. It started its life out as a 97 4x4, and we've since then chassis swapped a 91 two-wheel drive frame underneath it, so it is officially a two-wheel drive. But I wanted to give you guys a quick little look at the truck. Like I said, it's going to be dirty all video, but that's okay. This video is strictly just for informational purposes, education, showing you guys what it's going to take to do it on your Nissan Hardbody. If you have an S10, or if you can find the kit for the B22, or, you know, any other mini truck, your measurements are going to be a little bit different, but you're going to have to go to airbagit.com's website, and they have instructions for how to do it to your vehicle. The kit from airbagit.com is about $500. And a huge shout out to Night Stalker Customs, to Chris and Dante Walker for their video they made on how to do the Radical Hardtop kit on an S10. So I've watched that, and definitely taken some cues from it for sure. But this one's going to be a little bit more directed towards the hardbody. And rest in peace to our friend Chris. Amazing customizer, such a great guy. But I did take a lot of cues from their video, and that kind of taught me the way of, you know, showing me what I got to do to make this happen. Questions about my seatbelts. I reached out to Dante Walker even after the video, and he kind of walked me through, you know, what he got and what he did. So, I mean, everything is going to be looking pretty great. But we're going to be diving in now. So, essentially, just one last walk around. While my truck is still a hardtop, regular mini truck, I never really thought the day would come I'd be ripping the roof off this thing, but I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to this for quite a long time now. I just had other projects I wanted to tie up before starting this. I'm at a pretty good clean slate. Everything's caught up. So what better thing to do than to start another project? I mean, we're car guys. It's what we do. So I'm going to dive in now, and I'm pretty new to this, so I'm a little anxious about doing this job. It doesn't seem impossible. It does have its tricky parts. And essentially we're going to tape off right above our windshield trim, and we're going to scribe. So we're going to hold a pen and just, you know, run our measurement down. We're going to start here at the windshield to make our measurement. I'll tell you what the measurements are once we get there. And then we're going to end up cutting right down here all the way across. It might look a little weird because my bed is not fully bolted down, so I can't go by my bed. There's a list of measurements. I'll put them up on the screen probably now so you guys can see them. We're going to make some really exciting videos of cruising around with the top off and things like that. Today's video is specifically just showing you what it takes to get it cut off. But my friend Dan Mayhew from Ground Scrapers, he been a longtime friend, big mini truck guy, and he definitely inspired me to cut the roof off this. So shout out to him. I'm super excited to go surprise him with the work. I haven't told him. I just told him I had something cool coming for the truck. But to start off, we're going to jump into the preparation. I started taking some videos a couple days ago. And once we do all that, I'm going to pick up the camera again and show you guys what the next step is. So although we will be changing over to a 2-point seatbelt later, we do have to remove this panel for now, and I am going to keep these seatbelts in place, but I might be able to squeeze this through. I guess I gotta pull down the gaskets. I'm gonna pull these things out. Basically, I should pull this gasket, maybe have to unbolt this, and just kind of snap this out of place. All right, we're making some progress now. I pulled down our gasket real easy, pulled this out, just pulled it straight out. This thing came off pretty easy. Now we gotta find a screwdriver and unscrew these two screws here and pull out these little pins with like a little plastic pry bar. So same thing on this side. Just pull this gasket down, grab this, pull it out 2 notches. I'm going to take a screwdriver, pop these out, and unscrew this handle. And then this thing, I don't really care about it because I'm never going to need it again. And if I do, I'll paint it or whatever. I should be able to just kind of work it up and out, just like I did the last one. Yeah, here we are. that is out. I'm going to keep this cap for now because I don't need to actually take these off now. And almost there. Got these little caps out with the flathead screwdriver. And in the front here, oh, I got to take off the mirror as well. Well, that was a new one. Put a screwdriver up here, pulled down, and the cap's all the way out there now. We should have, oh, only 2 screws in this one. I guess there wasn't a spot on the 97s for a 3rd screw. Maybe I just didn't have one. I don't remember. There's a YouTube video on it, and I prefer this mirror way more. It's going to go right back up after I take it down. I'm just taking it down to get the headliner out because I can just get ahead of cutting the roof off that way. But this is all just step 1 preparation. Well, boys, this is it. Last time with a headliner. Kind of crazy. The whole thing is kind of a crazy thought. Damn. Look at that. It came down. I don't even know how it gets dirty up there, to be real honest. There's a lot of dust and dirt up there. Not too bad, though. Wow. I don't know. Hang it up in my room for now. I'll probably reuse it in the future, though, for when I make the hardtop hopefully go on and off the truck. I do want to close these up at some point, too. But thankfully, I think I cut right after them, so not a big deal right now. But it looks horrible, and that's okay. I mean, it looks clean. It looks cleaner than the headliner, but yeah, it doesn't look great. I think the hardest part about cutting the roof is going to be going through this double wall. That's going to suck. And going through this double pane as well. That is also not going to be very fun. But I'm going to slap my mirror back up there, and I'll see you guys once I get the kit and we start making some incisions in this truck. So now that you've seen some of the work I just did with the headliner out and everything, I do want to be careful. I think I'm going to leave my door panels in for right now. I do have a big welder's blanket too. I think I'm going to throw over the truck when I make my cuts, just to be on the safer side. But first things first, I think we're going to remove our seat belts. Those need to come off right now, essentially. Same with this light. This light is no more. I'm going to take this off, take down the wiring for now, and I'll come back to that later. I'm really not too sure what I'm going to do with that yet. Maybe I'll tuck it into the pillar if I have to a little later on. And another thing too, even though I snap these back in, these can come off for right now. They're kind of useless at this point. And we're going to have to remove all of our rubber trim, especially where we're going to be making cuts, because it's just honestly really going to be in the way. So kind of just pull that down. I can just rest it on the seat for now. You can remove your seat or just lean it forward. This one is obviously in horrific shape. I don't even care about it. As long as my truck doesn't light on fire, don't care. And when we make our cuts, we're obviously going to have to cut our gaskets to fit after, but I do recommend you move the gaskets or take them off. So I'll kind of show you guys what we do when we get there, I guess. Especially for things like this gasket, like I'll just kind of pull off a couple pins, and then I'll make my cut and just kind of leave it in place instead of taking the whole door gasket off. And then do the same thing up here. One big thing I learned from the Night Stalker custom video is they show us a way to help prevent leaking. And one of the things they do is when you make our cut here, we're also going to section the door somewhere around here. I'll try to figure out the exact measurements. Like I said, it's going to be as informal as I can make it. And essentially, we're going to reattach just a piece of the door right here. Our caps are going to come all the way over. Instead of just having a cut here where it's like 2 ends meet and then the door closes all funny and you always have a gap that leaks. So we're going to avoid that right away. And another thing I did too, I'll show you when they come in, is we ordered some latches off Amazon that they also recommended. So they're going to be a little more sturdy, but we're not there yet. I just got to start removing some of my rubber and stuff and get those seat belts removed. So it's looking like you just got to peel this cap forward. Probably a little tricky. I might need a screwdriver. Usually not too fun. Or it comes off like nothing. Probably like a 17 millimeter if I were to assume. And then I cut my seat so I could fit my sub back here. So I got to go open it from the other side. But then we come over to here and essentially the same thing. We got to remove our belt down there, our belt right here, and remove this cover and take out this harness. And then I have some new lap belts I measured from Seatbelt Plus that I am pretty excited to install, but that'll be towards the end of the video. But we want to get these out of here. Man, was I way off. That is a 14, boys, not a 17. Now we're going to go down here, remove the cover, and take those bolts out. Well, and just like that, able to pull this out of here. That is one seat belt. Now I'm going to do the same on the other side, remove the cap, and it was just a 10 millimeter bolt here and a 14 down there. And I'll put the plastic caps on at a later date. But now we're going to go remove that seat belt. Realistically, if I can't trace this down to the harness, I'll probably just end up having to cut this for my rear light. Gaskets sitting on the seats are a little annoying, probably just be easier to remove, but if I don't have to take out all my kick trim, it's a little nicer, save a couple more seconds of time. I think we want to roll down our windows. That's step one. You can remove your door panels. I'm not too crazy. Like, if these door panels get ruined, yeah, it sucks, but I have other door panels, so I'm not too worried about that right now. If I feel like I need to cut them off or take them off, I will. But I think we're pretty much all set to maybe start running our tape, and then we can start setting up our measurements. I feel like the measurements and cutting is the trickiest part of all this. After that, it's all just kind of add and prep. But same thing over here. As I cut, I'm probably going to remove my gaskets as I go, because I'm just not too sure how I want to do everything just yet. But these obviously need to come down. And man, a little anxious, boys. This got me a little like, there's not really any video specifically on the D21, so getting all the measurements and everything is a little tricky, so it's all trial and error, but you don't got a lot of room for error here. So I'm going to run masking tape all the way across, and we'll figure out our measurements after. Now, we're going to scribe using the tape measure back 5 3/4 inches all the way down. All right, guys, I'm back out here, and I'm coming across a couple little complications with the kit. So, I'd rather be really transparent, and I guess one of the biggest things about custom vehicle work is you need to improvise. I guess it really comes with any custom work ever. But right here, we have 20 inches marked from the back of the door like they want. And this looks right. This looks good. This leaves us this much of a space from behind the windshield gasket to here. That's an okay piece of metal trim to have. The problem is 5 3/4 is gross huge. That is a big distance on the metal trim back. I mean, it's not terrible. It's not great either. So I think, like I said, a big part of custom work is you got to be creative. I think I'm going to draw a line 4 3/4 inches up instead, and draw my lines and see if it comes any closer to this 20. And if so, we're going to go off 4 3/4 instead of the 5 3/4 like they want you to. And I think that'll look better. It'll give us a more sleek profile. And I think that's what we're going to do. And again, you don't have to do this on your mini truck, but if you follow the instructions, these lines just don't add up. They want you to go 20 inches from the back of the door to here and 5 3/4 inches scribed off this gasket up. That you can't even go any lower. There's no lower point to go off of. So that's what we're going to do. We're mini truckers. We're having fun. Let's get the roof cut off this thing. Bingo. Check that out. Our line right here, 20 inch right here. That's so solid. Literally perfect. I'll kind of get a little creative making my line, make sure it's even on both sides, draw it out. But I like that a lot more. I'm actually going to cut off my 3/8 of an inch forward off the line because it'll just give us an even more sleek look instead of cutting it off the back. Look at that. We improvised and made it happen. This is 4 3/4 inch all the way down. Almost matched up perfect with this. I think the only thing I might do maybe is I get a little bit too much curve here. I think I'm going to straighten this out and go down a little bit. I know you guys are probably like, it's not exact measurement, but it's okay. Because I need to make these big flat plastic panels fit in there pretty perfectly. So I think it'd be pretty weird for it to have a little bit of curve and then just stop out of nowhere. Or make this come down into curve instead. I basically need to split the difference somehow and either straighten this out a little bit, which I think would look better is if we made this just a little more straight and met up right here. That way this trim can just really sit on there nice and flat. So I do have both lines drawn out. I'm just trying to decide. Basically, you can see here, I don't want it to keep curving out and then have to flip back. So I kind of split the difference on both sides. Like I said, I mean, we're not building a multi-million-dollar custom vehicle. We're just having fun. But it would make the most amount of sense before it keeps curving to just have a slighter curve instead of such a, aggressive curve back. And I think that's going to work out really great for me. And now I'm going to draw out my 3/8 of an inch line all the way down, scribe that out. And once that's in, we just got to make our measurements for the back half of the cab. So this part's been a little tricky. I'm trying to give you guys the ins and the outs. But essentially, I took a piece of electrical tape, and I needed to figure out what is the top of my door, or what am I going to make essentially the top of my door. Right here, you can see there's a crease in the door. You can see my tape goes right to that. So I'm going to measure from, I guess in here, wherever the tape measure sticks on this factory crease, to right here and measure the distance. Then I'm going to go over here. I'm going to measure my distance again. It might, it'll be a little different for everybody. I'm going to measure wherever the point the point of the crease is over. So once I have my measurement, we're going to walk over to the other side of the truck and see if I have the same measurement. And if so, then I can measure from the top of the tape down 19¼ inch, essentially calling that my top of my door. And then I'll have my 19¼ Sounds so overcomplicated, and it kind of is, because it is. So I'll have to line up whatever this is over there. So I'll actually probably bring that one up a little bit to match at about almost 3¼ but I got to use both hands to get my exact measurements. Just describing to you guys my system. Then after that, this has something to sit on, and I can get a perfect 19¼ inch measurement down here and draw my line. So now I've measured out both lines to just shy of 3½ inches, and now I'm going to go straight down. I think that's pretty much going to be my top. That is right on the seam perfectly. So I'm going to measure from the top of there down 19¼ and make my line. All right, so with this line here, which is straight, with the cab, we have our straight line marked across. Use this to draw my line. Awesome. My problem I'm having now is getting a line from here down. If I had like a chalk line, I could snap it and just draw across. That would be super ideal. I don't know how I'm going to do that quite yet. So that's tricky. And then I need to draw 3/8 inch above, draw my line, and that's what we section out for the kit. So my idea was I have a line that comes around the cab, that obviously the tape goes down once it's folded. But I have my line, and we ran a piece of electrical tape to each side. So just to make sure that's completely even, I'm going to use my measuring tape and measure from the top of the tape to the windowsill and make sure it's the same all the way down. And if so, we have our straight lines and we're good to cut. Sweet. So from at the top of this piece of tape to the bottom of the gasket all the way down, I have 2 1/8 inch measurement. So I'm going to draw my line there, and that should be a pretty good way to get my measurement, I guess. I mean, like I said, this is all for fun, boys. I'm not a pro, and do at your own risk. I mean, if you want to take cues from what I did, send it. But just trying to show you guys what I did, I guess, to get here and get the roof off. So now I can remove my tape, but I'm actually going to, at this very second in time, make my 3/8 measurement off the tape, because it'll give me a good place to put the tape to scribe the 3/8 all the way down. And then, honestly, just got to do the roof and we're ready to cut. Well, you know what they say, if it works, it's not stupid, right? I'm going to mark my marker all the way down. I've measured. This is 3/8 inch all the way down. I got a perfect tape line. Super excited. Then, once I get that line in place, I'm going to probably drill wherever I can, just right through so I have a hole. And then I'm going to, again, fold my seat forward, run some tape on the back of the cab, and draw a line just straight across. That way I can make sure I'm straight in here and straight out here. Well, all right, guys, I've already tried to use the Sawzall, and didn't seem to go too great. Gonna wait a little bit and see if I can figure out how to get my measurements on the inside of the cab. But until then, I'm gonna actually start just this line right here. Want to get a nice cut here, get a little footage for you guys, and then you know, I'll take a Sawzall or the cutoff wheel and cut all the way down. I was hoping I could have used the Sawzall kind of just through here, but it's so close to the bed, so definitely having some issues there. Basically, all I'm doing right now is making my cuts. I'm going to have to keep swapping from my cutoff wheel to the Sawzall to the cutoff wheel. Again, I'm just trying to break through, like, right around here. I did make a drill hole, but it's not great, so if I can get a line all the way through the cab on both sides, I can measure the inside and actually just make my cut on the inside and make sure I watch my blade outside and in to make sure I'm completely level. Up here shouldn't be too bad. I'll probably make my cut on the outside first, and then I'll move over to doing the inside. We're going to leave this still attached, though, on both sides so I can make my inside cut. Then I'll come back after I cut both the middles and cut to get it off. But if I can't get this in the garage tonight, I'm just going to put a tarp over it and have to come back in the morning. But we are getting our measurements laid out. That was the hardest part. They don't make it very clear. It's not very easy either. But we're just going to keep going. So essentially, I've gotten my black line all drawn out with the tape here. So as long as I'm cutting out here and it matches up in there, everything is great. Like I said, I just got to finish this top cut. I got to finish taping around here, making my lines, make sure it's all straight. I'm just going to keep going at it with the Sawzall. I had to use the cutoff wheel to get in here first and then just Sawzall through so I could get a line going. I have my top line 1.5 inches down from this brace. So essentially it was like 1.5 inches. This tape is followed all the way down. So as long as I keep following that, like I said 10 times, the cut should be pretty good. My line on the outside is getting cut up real nice. And on the inside, put my shield down. Well, I got most of the rear of the cab wall cut out, but I'm going to call it quits for tonight, and I will be back out in the morning. And then we'll hopefully get that roof cut up. It's just so hard to do it at night in the dark. Looks like a great day to cut the roof off your truck, don't it? Well, that's not going to stop me. Let's get in this thing. We got work to do. Well, not a lot of this looks like it's going to be a ton of fun, but let's get these bags removed. Thankfully our lines are still there. That was the biggest thing I was worried about. I spent like at least, I don't know, 5 hours measuring last night. So now we have our measurements. I really hate to lose them. So hopefully I can get this all cut up today, and then I can come back to it tomorrow. All right, so I just used the Sawzall to help finish off the rest. I stayed pretty good on my line all the way down. It is a little tricky. It's such a short distance. So I'm going to have to be real careful trimming out my second line that I made. But not anything to worry about too much. I can literally take this and lift it. So that makes me pretty damn excited, honestly. I'm going to lay down that big welder's blanket all over my dash and stuff. And I'm going to start making these 2 cuts with the cutoff wheel. All right, boys. Shield down, and so it begins. We're going to start doing our cuts on the roof. Like I said, I got everything all covered up. Good to go. So we're killing it right now. Obviously, I had a little curvature, but I can clean that up later with the grinder and everything. That's all going to be in the prep half of things. But making my lines, I just want to do the insides, and then I'll come down here and finish cutting off the outsides. I lift the gasket. I'm just going to cut through it. I'll do the same on that side, and then hopefully I should be able to pull the roof off. So I think this is coming along really well. Basically, I'm going to run a Sawzall through here, finish up any of my cuts, and I think I'll just do the roof for right this second, because I know for sure these lines are what I need to cut on the doors. All right, boys, one more cut on the other side, and this roof is good to come off. Use the Sawzall to finish the job on the corner here. Not perfect, but a lot of prep work will take care of all that. Unfortunately, I don't have a gimbal or tripod or anything, so got my face shield on, but I want you guys to see me pull the roof off. This is pretty gnarly. Like this is a huge step in my life. Just in my life, man. This is pretty custom, and I'm pretty excited. I think I'll open this door. Oh man, y'all ready? Hopefully it comes off. Oh, dude, no way. Oh, y'all get to see it as a vert before. Oh, this is so sick. Oh, I'm actually so proud of myself right now. This is crazy. Well, boys, in all honesty, at this point, I know I can start doing all the prep work. I gotta shave down the bottom line now, but I think I'm gonna cut the doors right now. I think I'm gonna do that just so it's full convertible, so we can really see what this thing is gonna look like. But would you look at that, boys? I basically put my Sawzall down. I cut straight down at the door. I cut straight down here. Things are looking great. I think the only thing that I have done wrong so far, and it's not over, I just think it's going to cause a weird seal, but it's not really the end of the world, is right here this bows out a little bit. So if I can try to straighten this out without taking off too much material, kind of my plan. I got to be careful, though, because that is, it bends back around. So this could be an issue, but it might not be as bad as it seems. I might be able to kind of manipulate it, cut straight down, get rid of just this excess material, and everything will snap on just fine. So not too stressed out there. And then, honestly, this is just the hardest thing of all of it, is slicing out another 3/8 of an inch all the way down. I do got a good level here, but once everything's on top of it, after I cut out that section, then I should be pretty good. I put my bow in, and I am freaking out over nothing. Everything fits amazing. Wow, this is just going to be so sweet. Definitely feel like I'm going deaf. These tools are pretty loud in your ear pretty consistently. But we've gotten the door cut, we've gotten this cut. I'm still cutting right here. I got a little bit of metal I'm having a hard time getting without a cutoff wheel. And I'm ripping down with the Sawzall. Just got to rip down a little bit further, and I can start grinding everything down on my surfaces to get ready to start placing the caps on, which is honestly the most exciting. One of the biggest things we talk about is back with these old kits is leaking. And one way to avoid leaking is I'm basically going to take this pillar, measure it out on each side, probably somewhere right off this gasket or something, or up here, you know, kind of get a good angle, and just make a nice straight cut somewhere, you know, wherever I feel is right. Make it even on each side. And essentially, what's going to happen is I'm going to have this piece stay to the cab, and that way the door will be able to open just like it does now, but this piece, all of this will be stuck on the cab. I'll show you how it works after. And that will make it so water runs down this and then onto whatever gaskets I have here and just continue down. Everything else has been going pretty good. I think I'm going to clean up the truck. I made a just ridiculous mess everywhere. And, you know, get my gaskets cut. Probably just run these up and cut them up here for right now. And, you know, I got a lot of work to do. We're nowhere near done. But I think what I'll do is prep the metal. And I think this is going to be a 2-part series. I didn't want it to be. But obviously there's videos that are just 1 part. But I'm working a little slower. So new to this. And it's my first time. So I want to make sure I'm just bringing the best content I can for you guys. So I think I'm going to go do a couple donuts in the snow with the top off. And then next video, I'll start taking all the tape off, prepping my surfaces with the grinder, and essentially getting the caps on and getting it epoxied and siliconed in place. But I'm pretty happy with this today, boys. I mean, this is a huge feat. Seriously, don't worry. Part 2 will be out in like just a couple days. That this video gets dropped on a Monday. Part 2 will be dropped on a Thursday. So I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty proud of what we accomplished on this truck in the last just couple days. I mean, just this year in general is insane. I mean, within the last, 12 months, I mean. But this is awesome, guys. Seriously, thanks so much for checking out today's video.